A war can end in a single day, but inside the human brain, it can keep going for decades. Some soldiers come home unable to sleep in silence, others panic at fireworks, crowds, or even a car door slamming nearby. And the disturbing part is this: their brain may still believe they're in danger long after the battlefield is gone. So, what does war actually do to a human being? And why do some people survive physically, but never mentally recover? For thousands of years, humans have gone to war believing it would bring security, peace, or freedom. But war changes more than borders. It changes the body, rewires the brain, and can leave psychological scars that last across generations. And today, neuroscience is revealing something unsettling. The most dangerous part of war may not be the bullets, it may be what happens after the fighting stops. Before a soldier ever steps onto a battlefield, the body already begins to change. The moment someone learns they're going to war, the brain activates its survival systems. Heart rate increases, stress hormones flood the bloodstream, sleep becomes lighter. The body starts preparing for danger before danger even arrives. Then comes military training. At first, it looks like discipline. Running drills, sleep deprivation, endless repetition. But psychologically, it serves another purpose. It breaks individual habits and replaces them with automatic responses. Because in war, hesitation can mean death. Think about it like this: your brain is being reprogrammed to react faster than you can consciously think, almost like installing survival software into a human body. And once combat begins, the nervous system rarely turns off. Adrenaline and cortisol remain elevated for weeks or even months. The brain starts treating every sound, movement, or shadow as a possible threat. Eventually, this soldier stops living normally. They start living in survival mode. During World War I, soldiers returned home trembling uncontrollably. Some couldn't speak. Others became emotionally numb or froze under stress. At the time, many people called it cowardice. Today, we know it was trauma. Modern neuroscience shows that extreme fear changes the brain itself. The amygdala, the region responsible for detecting danger, becomes hyperactive. Meanwhile, the hippocampus, which organizes memories, struggles under chronic stress. The result is terrifying. The brain fails to fully recognize that the danger is over. That's why people with PTSD can relive traumatic moments years later as if they're happening in real time. A smell, a sound, or a random image can instantly reactivate the entire survival response. Imagine watching the worst moment of your life replay itself over and over again without warning. That's what many veterans experience. And here's the disturbing part. Sometimes the human brain survives war by becoming emotionally disconnected. Soldiers may lose empathy, suppress fear, or emotionally shut down simply to function in combat. But when they return home, those survival adaptations don't automatically disappear. The war leaves the battlefield, but it stays inside the nervous system. People often imagine war as old trenches and massive frontline battles. But modern warfare looks different now. Drones, missiles, surveillance systems, and long-distance attacks have changed how wars are fought. But they haven't changed what war does to the human brain. Veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan experienced high rates of depression, addiction, anxiety, and suicide. In some cases, more soldiers died from suicide after returning home than from combat itself. And soldiers are no longer the only victims. Millions of civilians in places like Ukraine, Gaza, and other conflict zones live under constant psychological stress. Explosions, displacement, fear, uncertainty, loss. Children growing up in these environments often develop chronic anxiety and long-term emotional trauma before adulthood even begins. And scientists are now studying something even more unsettling: intergenerational trauma. Extreme stress may affect how certain genes are expressed through epigenetic changes, potentially influencing future generations. In other words, war may leave marks not only on the people who experience it, but also on their children. Here's the part most people never think about. War doesn't only destroy human bodies, it changes the way humans perceive reality itself. The brain is designed to adapt in order to survive, and in war, survival often means becoming hyper-alert, emotionally detached, aggressive, or numb. The tragedy is that the same adaptations that keep someone alive during combat can destroy their ability to live normally afterward. That's why for many people, war never truly ends, because the battlefield eventually disappears, but the brain remembers. Human beings have spent thousands of years fighting wars, believing violence could eventually create peace, but every conflict leaves behind invisible scars carried by soldiers, civilians, families, and entire generations. Maybe the most frightening thing about war isn't how many people it kills. Maybe it's how deeply it changes the people who survive it. And if humanity understands exactly what war does to the human mind, why do we keep repeating it? If you enjoyed this video and want more science and psychology content that explores the human mind, subscribe and let me know in the comments. Do you think war is part of human nature, or something humanity can eventually outgrow?